G'day traders, welcome to wrap up of Monday, 21st November. So start today, if you looked at the dailies chart, very much a down perception today. So over the weekend the market's opened up. It's opened with a gap to the downside, and if you look at the dailies, there's very much the market action is definitely to the downside. So you'd definitely be looking for the short opportunities to start off with today. And if ever the market gaps, opens with a gap like that, there's obviously good reason for it. And the market's got to do a lot of work to turn that around and all of a sudden start heading to the upside. So good reason to head down. That's exactly what it did to start off with, push down through a couple of power points. So this is the kind of situation where nothing really eventuated, but that first power point pullback might be a bit of a goer. Like this area here, or even this one here, just missed a power point. It was a bit of a bullet set up here. So if you're really keen to get on the downside, it was tough. But I guess here was your best opportunity to do that. And then you can see there it's headed back down and turned around at that yellow. With all this market action, still these yellows, even though this one's worked, they've been quite difficult to take lately because the market quite often charges through these yellows. And with such a strong downside, chances of it pushing through this were quite high, and yet it's bounced off it. So this purple is quite a likely one to work. You can see it's pushed through it just by one tick. So if you had it sat there on the limit order, you would have got stopped out. But what you can start to try and do as you're getting better with these PowerPoint trades is, rather than just sitting on the limit order, let the market push through, and then wait till you get your pressure, and then start to sell with the pressure. And then you would have been right to get the 2 points out of it that way. And kind of wait for the other markets as well to back you up. This particular situation here, some of the other markets were very much, there's green candles all over the other markets, so it's quite evident that the market's going to continue on for a couple more ticks at least, but in the overall it's still a good area to look to sell. So once you start to get that sell side pressure, then get on. So that's the kind of way you could approach that purple, but overall good area. You can see that it hasn't then quite pushed through, it's bounced off, then pushed down again. Continue to go down. Quite bizarre situation here where we're seeing so many lower power points in a row. Continue to push down. We hit basically the low, which was the low of the day. Once again, up here was the opportunity, but from here on in, unless you're in up here, it's very hard to hit on these opportunities. As you can see, it's pushed down with no specific pullback. There's nothing happening on the 5-minute chart as well. No pullbacks in the predictives. So getting on any of these situations, it's only going to be guesswork. So pretty much got to sit on our hands and wait till we get a pullback like this situation here and look for a better place to get in. So obviously the purple here came up, it didn't work. Once again, if you're going with the overall trend, it'd be to the downside, but by this stage we're getting a very extended market. At some stage you've got to think the buyers have got to start to take back a little bit of control. The last one, although it didn't work specifically, it did hold up the market in that area. So this one, the percentage of this one working is a whole lot less. From there we bounced in between power points and started to hit the lunchtime break. So this is the kind of area where you've seen a sell-off. Maybe look for all of a sudden some buyers to come into play. This particular power point here was looked at in the trading room. It's one that takes a little bit more experience, but it had the 5-minute signal. It was a 5-minute signal around this. It technically was a sell, and the moving average was not pointing directly down, but still on the downside. But just looking at the market action, this is the kind of thing you've got to take into mind. What's the moving average line doing? Yes, it was pointing down, but the market action was not really pointing to the downside. Not really to the upside either. It's kind of one of those tougher situations, but one that you could possibly look at. And then the market's pushed back up, and then after lunchtime here we had another sell just at this area here. So once again it's a 5-minute sell, which it's a bit 50-50. It's one that I think a lot of traders took, and people got all the different rules, and it's definitely one you could look at. But again, I was wondering what other buyers or sellers going. I wasn't really confident in taking this trade either way because I wasn't confident in the market action. So at the end of the day, it's kind of a good rule that you need to take your trades only if you're confident within the market. So even though there was a couple of signals, 5-minute signals, one there and one back here, both in tough situations to take. You can see then that these buyers have come, which you got to expect at some stage. We're very much on the downside of the dailies. You got to think the sellers aren't going to have it all their own way. There's a 5-minute signal up around here, which is back around here. So it would have worked, but not ideally the best situation because the market's very extended. When looking at the 5-minute chart, back down around about this point here, I thought was a lot better place to take it by this stage. The predictive was definitely crossing to the upside. Expecting some buyers to come at some stage. The market's not overextended. It's got plenty of room to even just push up to this area here to its next resistance area. So taking that 5-minute candle just 5 minutes earlier would have been a lot better opportunity than taking it up here. And then from there, the markets continued to push. Had a couple of pullbacks. Then there was another 5-minute buy up around here as well. But once again, the market's getting it's a little bit choppy, kind of hard to follow at this stage. And overall, I guess the day was it was a little bit unclear what the market wanted to do. But there was definitely its opportunities, but overall a tougher kind of day with a few chances. I'll bring out the 5-minute chart. So there's the 4 signals I was talking about earlier on. So this particular one here was a sell, but it was right at the beginning of lunch and quite a tough opportunity to take. Then we had another sell come up here, which again a lot of traders taken. It's an area that's definitely possible for the market to push down a little bit lower. But once again, I wasn't so sure about the market action in this situation. Then we can see this buy here. So this is the one that came right up here. I thought the entry was a lot better down around here before it got too extended. And then another entry up here. And by this stage, we're starting to get back up to around the highs. This is very close to the highs of the day. Apart from this wick pushing up there, we wouldn't have actually got a signal. So it's very much an area where the market's either going to bounce or push through. So once again, it's not one of the better areas. But I think this one had the most value for the day, if you took it earlier, and this one's definitely had its case for a sell as well. But that's a wrap up for the day.